Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Last week, I was having dinner with my family, and one of those moments where my children was saying something which didn't approve of, and I said, don't speak to your family member like that. You know, a classic parenting moment. And I said, what did I say? I said, well, I couldn't. It was a hard one to define, but it was more about tone. It was more about the overall sense of it than the exact words, but I knew that's not how you speak to a family member. So our parsha this week, Behar Bechukotai, has many big, lofty laws, some of the most important laws of our tradition, but also has this one slightly mysterious verse where it says, Lo tonu ish et amito, which is very hard to translate, but it means something like, don't mistreat another person. Very vague, right? The Torah usually is specific in this way or that way, or don't wrong another person, and then it says, have awe of the Lord your God, I am Adonai. So what does it mean not to mistreat a person or to do wrong to another person? Well, some of the rabbis say, well, it must be something very concrete, like in business. If you mistreat a person in business or don't do what's right in business, that must be what it's talking about. But it's something it seems very unspecific, not to mistreat a person. So Rashi, he takes it even more unspecific, and he says it means do not vex another person, don't annoy another person. You shouldn't even annoy another person. How does he define it? He says, don't give a person advice, and then after you've given them advice, it's really for your own benefit, and you're leading them astray. It's not really in their benefit, but you're leading them, and they can't quite see what you're doing to them. Don't speak unkindly to another person. So how do you calculate not to vex another person? I mean, that's a very high bar. And how do you know what a person intends or doesn't intend? And so Rashi explains that's why the end of the verse says, but fear the Lord your God, because most of us can't see what's in another person's intention, but the universe, God, sees what's in your heart and knows what you're thinking. If you're really, we all have our moments, but if you're intentionally vexing another person, then that somehow is not something that the Torah wants you to do. And it says, well, that's every time it says, but you shall fear the Lord your God, it's because it's something that other human beings can't see, and so you think, oh, I can get away with it. But as one member of our synagogue's mother said, God is always watching. And so part of the Torah is all those small parts of life are part of what define who we are as human beings. For most of us, we don't always go through those big things that the Torah talks about, but those little places in life and how we act, how we treat other human beings are where we define who we are. And Rashi goes on and says, well, it says in the Talmud, if you whiten another person's face in public, meaning you make another person feel bad in public, it's as if you murdered them, and you're going to go straight to Gehenna. Very high bar. But a sense that all the negatives really build up, but also the positives. If one can just send us one email to a person after you think they did something really nice and say, wow, that was wonderful what you did, how that uplifts another person. Or if you are able to smile at someone when they're having a hard time, that sometimes the small positives and the small negatives, that's the space where life happens. That's the foundation of a good life. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please